Hello, super quick update for James's OWK2 KNIGHT, which came back in for a little repair. The retention screw down the bottom, underneath the cover tech, had been stripped, but not the screw itself, the hole. Now this is something that I did notice with this hilt because the pommel pushes up against the screw ever so slightly when the pommel is fully tightened. So it seems like the way that people are getting around this is they're loosening the pommel ever so, and then they're doing anything with the cover tech. It's a bit of a faff, so I tried to engineer a solution which meant we didn't have to do that. So if I just quickly explain what I've done. So the original problem was that the screw wasn't catching. It was just spinning infinitely in this spot because it looked like the top kind of 2 or 3 threads of the female end of the hole had been stripped away, because this entire piece is black anodized, and you can see then if anything has been stripped because the top 2 rungs of the thread were silver instead of the black anodized that they should have been. So the fix was this. It was to run a drill down. This is going to be like, it's the most tiny thing. Run a drill down through inside to clean out any remaining pieces of screw that may be knocking around in there, which I did and is now nice and tidy. And then I retapped the hole with an M4 thread using plenty of lubricant and a nice clean M4 tap. We then got a brand new screw. This is the original screw that came with it is an M410. This is an M412. Now, that is ever so slightly too long. An M412 is too long. I couldn't find anywhere that made like an M411, annoyingly. But my plan was like a 2-pronged attack. It was to fix up the hole, tidy that up as best as possible, and get a new screw slightly longer than the previous screw so that it can actually bite past the top 2 threads which were stripped. So this is an M12 screw that has been shaved down ever so slightly, so it's literally like 2 threads, maybe 3 threads longer than an M10 screw. This is like it's now an M10.5 or something like that, let's say. And then the cover tech had a little bit of the inside material shaved down, so the screw sits just a touch lower inside the cover tech. That's all been glued back together and resealed. So the screw actually sits properly inside the cover tech now. I'll just whack a battery in just so you can see that everything is alive.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
Yes, exactly, my overconfidence with this project. Honestly, this screw is so delicate. Right, okay, so yeah, battery's in. So my chiefest concern was that the screw would make contact with the battery and pierce it, and if that happens, you're going to have an exploded saber and a very unhappy customer. So what I've done to avoid that is basically I fitted the shroud backwards, and measured the distance that the screw actually penetrated down into the hole, and then made sure that it didn't go in too far. And it doesn't. It literally just kind of kisses the top of the battery. I don't even think it makes full contact with anything. So obviously this bit gets fitted all the way up. What I am going to do is put this cover tech in first before I do the pommel, because I'm still convinced it was the pommel that caused this problem. So it's a couple screws and that's it. It's like 3 or 4 twists and it comes out super smooth now. So when re-screwing this one, literally hold the saber flat, rest the screw in the hole, and don't even apply any downward pressure, just gently ever so rotate, and then it'll bite at some point. There we go, and then a couple more twists. Oh, it won't bite now. There we go. Bites, doesn't come out. And then I'm just going to screw the pommel back on. Zip, 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 zip. And there we go. Same deal unscrewing. For safety, I would really recommend unclocking the pommel just by like 1 thread, just in case, because I'm convinced that it's making contact in there somewhere. It may not be, but it seems like a couple people I know, Sabers Forever, had this same problem where the pommel was pushing against the screw. Maybe that was what stripped it. I don't know. But now it's got a nice clean set of threads, a brand new M10.5, which doesn't exist, screw. Hole is nice and good to go, and it just comes apart buttery smooth. Yeah, any questions, give me a shout. Bit of a weird repair, this one, obviously, because it's a brand new saber. But with things like this, the screws and the threads are so small, it can happen. It's just the way these things are, unfortunately. But I've hopefully made it more foolproof in future, because the hole is now nice and clean. It's been tapped. The screw is slightly longer than the one we were provided with the kit, so there's extra bite in the threads. Doesn't make contact with anything inside. I've cleaned out the hole. I've reseated the screw in the covertech slightly lower. So I can't think of a way that this is going to break again. I'd be impressed if it did manage to break again. But yeah, hope you're happy with it. Bit of a weird repair job, but happy to help as always. So yeah, let me know if you're good to go with this one and I'll ship it back to you. But that's all. Thanks, guys.